either way. And that's where we bring in now Congressman Vince Fong, as I mentioned, representing California's 20th district, the Republican, joining us live here on Bloomberg TV and radio. Congressman, welcome. The president also apparently has not decided whether or not to commit to a $14 billion arms sale to Taiwan. He suggested he will be making a decision about that soon, knowing, of course, Congress has already greenlit that sale. Do you hope that he decides to move forward?
Well, this is certainly going to be a flashpoint that will continue on to the future. But yes, I mean, we need to support Taiwan. You see the great powers competition that the United States is engaged with China. China is trying to dominate and outcompete America in a variety of areas, whether it's AI, whether it's in technology, quantum, whether it's on space. You look at biotech as well, robotics, and so we are going to have to deal with this relationship for the long term. But we need to support Taiwan, and it's going to be a continuous challenge for us as a country.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, Congressman, we appreciate your joining us here, if anything has actually changed. We've heard some tough rhetoric over the past couple of days, but should America's friends in Taiwan be more worried today than they were before this summit?
No, I don't think so. I mean, certainly, look, the president is going to China in a position of strength. Again, as I've said before, China, the rise of China and the great powers competition. I mean, this is going to be the issue that will dominate our relationship and the global relationships across the world when it comes to stability for the next century. And so we are going to have to confront this challenge head on. The president is certainly tackling that. He is going to China. He is confronting the president. He is going to negotiate. He is going to talk. He is going to address these issues forthrightly and bring them to the forefront. I mean, we can't hide from the fact that this is going to be an issue that we're confronting. But at the end of the day, we have a president now that is willing to address it immediately with a sense of urgency.
Well, and it's understood, Congressman, that just the act of talking, of participating in a summit like this is important in and of itself. But is the president walking away with enough firm in hand? Where are all the deals that we expected to come from this? The commitments to China that China we thought might make when it comes to purchases of U.S. products. Are you disappointed?
No, I mean, look, this is the first of many conversations and many interactions between the United States and China. The president is going in with his eyes wide open. Again, China is not our friend. And so when we look at the competition that we're engaged in, look, they're stealing our IP. They're terrible on human rights. When you look at the challenges right now in cybersecurity, we just had a briefing on Mythos and the vulnerabilities that it has exposed. China is actively trying to develop those same AI platforms to exploit our vulnerabilities. When you look at commercial space, they are trying to be dominant in that arena. You look at emerging technology, biotechnology, 80% are probably the reagents and the things that make our medical devices and our pharmaceutical products come from China. I mean, think about this. If we were back during the Cold War, we would never allow the Soviet Union to make 70 to 80% of the things that make our economy function. Fast forward to today, China does make 70 to 80% of the things that make our economy function. So the president is trying to put an industrial policy together. He is trying to rebalance the relationship, ensure that America is strong in a variety of industries. This is going to be an important thing, and the president is leading from the front.
What do you make of some of the analysis today from Bloomberg? A paltry set of deliverables underscoring the rushed and chaotic planning for the trip as he grappled with the Iran war and a range of domestic issues. Axios, nearly every force shaping U.S.-China relations is in fact pulling them apart. And the Washington Post, in pageantry and politics, China summit yields Xi's goal, equal footing with the U.S. It's that last point I want to ask you about, Congressman, the image of these two superpowers on similar footing, what the president referred to as the G2 in an interview yesterday, seems to favor China, does it not?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that's a lot of rhetoric. We're going to look at the specifics. But again, the president is leading. I mean, you look at the previous administration and the administrations before that. I mean, we are dealing and confronting a real challenge. We are in a great powers competition. I mean, as I said before, China is going to be the challenge. They could either be a force for good in partnership with us, or they could be a force for instability. And so this is something that our eyes are wide open when it comes to Taiwan, when it comes to the entire Indo-PACOM region, when it comes to our competition in a variety of industries. I mean, we have to lead. And when you look at the president's investments in bringing back manufacturing, when you look at the use of tariffs to expand our leverage, when you look at the investments when it comes to hardening our supply chain, when bringing back critical minerals to the United States, when you look at our leadership in AI, all of this is to confront the growing threat that China poses to us.
Congressman, finally, as you have a seat on the Transportation Committee, I'd love to ask you, as we consider another geopolitical challenge the U.S. is facing, it's obviously how to extract ourselves from the conflict with Iran and how to get the Strait of Hormuz back open and energy flowing out of the Middle East once again. The president has floated an idea of a federal gas tax holiday. Do you support it, knowing it could mean a hit in the fund that funds so much of our critical transit infrastructure?
Well, we're looking at it. I mean, certainly affordability is probably the top issue facing Americans right now. Gas prices, number one. In California, gas prices has surpassed $6. As someone who advocated for suspension of the state gas tax, we should look at the suspension of the federal gas tax, but it's not a permanent solution. We certainly have to look for ways to keep the Highway Trust Fund solvent. So we're looking at every single angle to fund our roads, but we have to bring back the price of gasoline. The solution to the price to reducing the price of gasoline is to expand supply, to invest in energy infrastructure, to expand our refining capacity. These are the things that President Trump is doing. Contrast President Trump's energy policy to the policy of Gavin Newsom. No question, Gavin Newsom has made California weaker and more vulnerable. We cannot follow down that path. We need to follow President Trump's lead in expanding energy production. That is the long-term solution to reducing gas prices and making America energy secure.
Congressman, it's great to have you. Thanks for being part of our conversation today with us live from Capitol Hill. Congressman Vince Fong, California's 20th district, as we assemble our political panel for their